Okay. Let's start the meeting.
Just one more minute, Bhuvneshwari.
Okay.
Start sharp at.
Okay, 3 o'clock. Oh, I'll stop pause record.
We can start, Bhuvneshwari.
Very good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon.
We'll start this meeting now with a small prayer from Lakshmi Nandagumar Menon. Lakshmi, over to you.
Okay. Audible? Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay.
हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मन विजय करे, दूसरों की जय के पहले खुद को जय करे। हमको मन की शक्ति देना, भेद भाव अपने दिल से साफ कर सके, दोस्तों से भूल हो तो माफ कर सके, झूठ से बचे रहे, सच का दम भरे, दूसरों की जय के पहले खुद को जय करे। हमको मन की शक्ति देना।
वाह, बहुत अच्छे. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you, Lakshmi ji. Thank you very much for this beautiful, melodious, very apt song, apt prayer for this, to start this session. Today we are having this webinar for a motivational talk on inculcating values and ethics in children and youth, role of family. Dr. Nanditesh Nilay is our guest speaker. Dr. Nilay has joined from Delhi and is a repository of information on this interesting subject. Despite his very busy schedules, he agreed to address us all. And on behalf of SUVARNA, let me extend a warm welcome to Dr. Nanditesh Nilay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Now, we have our zonal organizer, Srimati Usha Nair, who has been the driving force behind us in organizing all these, sessions over these 2 or 3 years, 2 years, the COVID times and all that. I extend a warm welcome to her. Then we have our previous resource persons here. I'll take this opportunity to welcome them. Mr. Iyer is there. He was a resource person on Mudra Yoga. Then Srimati Kumi Vivania, she was also here with us today. And we have a number of persons from, I don't know whether from Delhi. Somebody is expected to join from Delhi and other branches. Yes, other branches we have. And we have our own members who are very enthusiastic, always enthusiastic. SUVARNA's members are enthusiastic about these sort of programs. And I extend a very warm, we have Kalyani ji, who has joined us here. She's MIC Climate Change. So I welcome her also. Rema Madam. And everybody, all my friends, SUVARNA friends. So now, before we start the session, I would request Srimati Usha Nair to say a few words about AIWC because one or two people are like Dr. Nilay is outside AIWC. He would like to hear what we are doing and all that. And none other than Usha Nair is, she's the repository of information on AIWC for that matter.
Thank you, Bhuvneshwari. I am very happy to be part of this webinar. We have had a series of webinars since the onset of the pandemic in 2020, and I think we must have conducted over 100 or 150 webinars. And SUVARNA Calicut has been very active in that they themselves have organized several webinars and even their meetings over Zoom. So I'm very happy to be part of this webinar and such a good topic. And I'm glad that Bhuvneshwari has found the very apt resource person to address us. So thank you, Dr. Nantitesh Nilay, for joining us.
Thank you.
So just a very short introduction about AIWC. Though most of the audience are from AIWC and they know about AIWC, but I would still like to just recall all the legacy of AIWC. All India Women's Conference was established in 1927, and it is actually one of the oldest national women's organizations in India. Before that, there were several women's organizations like WIA in Chennai, and there are others in different places, but they were all more or less local organizations. But this was the first national women's organization. And stalwarts like Sarojini Naidu, Vijayalakshmi Pandit, Hansa Mehta, Lakshmi and Menon, Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy, Lakshmi Raghuramaya. I mean, actually, you take all the top names in the Indian women's movement, and they were all part of AIWC at one time or the other, and they have all given leadership to these great organizations. When we started in 1927, it was Margaret Cousins, an Irish lady who took inspiration and started this movement. That is, she got together women from different places, and there were 22 regional conferences that were organized in 1926. And representatives from these regional conferences met in Pune in 1927, and that is where the organization took birth, in fact. And at that time, it was mainly it was called the Women's Educational Conference, because it was felt that women's literacy is the biggest challenge, they thought, for bringing women outside their homes and for empowering them. But as they progressed, they realized that there were several social evils that had to be addressed before we could tackle women's literacy. For example, child marriage was one of the greatest challenges that they faced, because many very young children were married off, and then their scope for education was totally closed. So they thought we have to tackle these social evils and then go on to literacy and education and other things. So they started a major involvement with social legislation. And during that period, women from AIWC from all over the country, they got involved in advocating for reforms. And Sharda Act was one of the very first acts that was passed, mainly due to interventions from AIWC, and several other acts were passed during the following decades. And then we moved on to undertaking programs on education, skill development, income generation for poor women, environment protection, women's health, family welfare, legal awareness, legislation for women's rights and empowerment, etc. And then many branches started running schools for the underprivileged. And we also, many branches have working women's hostels and care homes for distressed women. And now, as of now, we have more than 600 branches across India. In almost all the states, we have branches. And the most interesting fact about this organization is that all of us are voluntary workers. And so we have more than 1 lakh voluntary women workers across the country who are working for empowerment of women, for social in reforms and education and various other issues. We enjoy consultative status with the UN ECOSOC, that is the Economic and Social Council of the UN, which is a coordinating agency for 14 or more UN organizations like ILO, FAO, UNESCO, WHO, World Bank, IMF, etc. And they make policy recommendations to these organizations. So with the consultative status, AIWC, we are also able to give our inputs. When any issue is taken up for discussion, they refer to us also, along with all the other organizations with consultative status. And we can submit our views also, and they will take it into account while they finalize their policy recommendations. In the same way, we have observer status with UNFCCC, which is the UN Agency for Climate Change. And we are a very strong presence in the women and gender constituency at the Conference of Parties, COP, the COP27, which just concluded in Egypt. We have been part of this right from the early 2000, from 2011, we have been very active. 2013, we got observer status. So there again, we are able to submit our views, our recommendations, and we are able to get involved in a very big way in the climate change advocacy work at the COP and also in each country. So that is a very short account of the organization. And in the South Zone B is consists of branches in Kerala and Karnataka. I am a zonal organizer for South Zone B. We have more than nearly 40 branches in Kerala and a little less number in Karnataka. And we are all working towards the same goal of empowerment of women. And I'm very happy to say that we have been doing a very good work in all these, all the states and especially the southern states. And with that short representation about AIWC, I conclude my words. Once again, I offer a very warm welcome to Dr. Nanditesh Nilay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
DVS Iyer, Dr. Kumi Vivena, and all others who have joined for this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaji.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shaji. Now we'll proceed to our program. Before that, I will introduce Dr. Nanditesh Nilay to this audience. Actually, it's a great privilege for me to introduce him to all of you, whom I have known since 2010. He is a faculty. He was and he is a faculty of the ISTM, that is Institute of Secretariat Training and Management of Government of India, where we government officers undergo professional trainings at various stages. So he was our teacher. I should say that he had taken sessions for our batch. And his session was the most interesting one for all of us. And we all, that had really won him a lot of admirations. And many of us had become his fans. Now, actually, incidentally, all of us were in the 50s. And almost in another few years, we were to retire. And Dr. Nilay was very young at that. Even now, he's young, of course. At that time, he was younger. Now, Dr. Nanditesh Nilay is a human values advocate, leadership trainer, author, columnist, speaker, political and social analyst and entrepreneur. Dr. Nilay is the proprietor of a training institute. Then he is Diploma Board Chairman of Indian Society for Training and Development. He has been there consecutively for the last 3 years. He is a doctor. He was a doctoral fellow in Gandhian Studies ICSSR and received his first PhD. He holds 2 PhDs. First PhD in image building in written culture. He has completed the course in justice from Harvard University, and then his second PhD was from IIT Delhi in ethics, values, and ethical decision-making process among civil servants. He has been the expert to SAARC countries, then Civil Services Academy, National Center for Good Governance, UPSC, CBI, Competition Commission, JNU. It's a long list, IITs, Delhi University, then Internal Security Academy, then ISTM, as I told earlier, NCB, IITs, etc. Dr. Nilai's area of teaching and writing is values, ethics, and leadership, aligning values and competency, transforming behavior and change, lateral team collaboration, values in interpersonal relationships, business ethics, resilient leadership, handling conflict, women empowerment, mindfulness for happiness, creativity, ethical decision-making, ethics in governance, and many more. Dr. Nilai aims to make India a value India through his inspirational writing and teaching. And he is into training both in India and abroad in several related fields. He has written several books, Being Good, Aaye Insaan Bane, Ethicos, which are stories searching happiness. These are much acclaimed books on socio-economic change and highly motivating the readers on values and ethics. Dr. Nilai writes on ethics, happiness, and society. He's a columnist for Indian Express, the Hindutva, Jansatta, Dainik Bhaskar group. This is a very abbreviated version. I hope I have not left out any very important something, I hope that I've abridged it. So, because he has undertaken a lot of work. So, but I have only said here, then you can imagine the expertise that he has got in this field. So I would now like to invite Dr. Nanditesh Nilai for his session, starting his session and his talk. There will be an interactive session after this, after his talk, where we can all exchange our views. Dr. Nanditesh Nilai, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. So it's a long journey. After 12 years, still, due to the online mode, I am visible and you all are visible. And you have always remembered me with all your kindness, with all your gratefulness. You have been a good human being. I always believe that. And now I have to do a talk on the human values, how to inculcate that in young boys and children. I can only say first that the great work is being doing by this institution. So I am very happy, glad to meet all of you. Usha ma'am, thank you so much, and the whole team. When this organization was introduced, so I felt so happy to listen that you all have been doing so much of work. It means what? That good people are also working. So it doesn't mean that good people are not working. Though good people are a lot of times are not in news. They are not there in the page 2nd and page 3rd of the newspapers. So somewhere we feel, but yes, but people are there, good people are there, no doubt in that. So now the question is that what I am going to share with all of you, because when I was just thinking that you all have seen all, I will say, ups and downs of life, so much of experience, so much of knowledge, so much of human interaction. What's new? So I will not say new, but I will certainly share some challenges to you when we have to meet the young generation. So whenever we say the values, whenever we say how to inculcate values in children and on young people, the biggest question is that whether the young generation or whether that child with their capacity to reason understands that yes, my mother, my grandmother, or my father, or my elder brother is willing to pass on certain good thing to me, which is substantial, which we can help me to grow in my life. Question is that today everything is quantitative. We need to understand first very well. Everything is quantitative. So we go with a number of likes. So a number of likes, number of followers decide how big person you are. Now, this is a very dramatic change in last 2 decades, 1 decade, I will say. In the last 10 decade, the world has changed in a numeric way. So now you go on Google, and if you don't find a single video of that person, you will go on the Twitter and we don't find few likes of that person, then you will conclude straight that, okay, this person doesn't have that virtue, that aura, which is being said something on the profile. Now, this is the change. So the generation which has took birth in 1995, they are mesmerized by this change. They count. That is very, very important. It has to be counted. So when love is not love, respect, care, compassion, kindness, how it will be counted, you tell me? Human values is not numeric. Human values is completely qualitative. It has to be felt. But the world is going in an opposite way. So world is saying that father is loving me or mother is not loving me. Or mother loves me, father doesn't love me. Or both love me, but grandfather loves us more than that. So every thing is contesting. Even truth is contesting today. My truth, your truth, others' truth. So we are contesting every time. So if I am saying that this is right, some other person is saying, no, this is right. So the righteousness is contesting. So when we live in that type of world where everything is our good, everything is contested, everything is counted, then all qualitative aspects of the life will face the challenge. And therefore, we are facing the challenge. We all are facing. It's not about you. It's not about me. We all are facing this. Now, you see, when you see the movies, you will find that in the 70s and 80s, we used to make movies on, friendship, simple friendship, two friends. You from last 10 years, 15 years, you see, good friendship. Friendship has been a value. It has been a huge value. But now it is missing. Nobody wants to make too much of, write literature on that, write poetry on that. Few filmmakers are willing to work on those human values. So I just want to begin with this, understanding that we are living in a quantified world. So when we live in a quantified world, then everything has to be counted. So profit and loss have to be there. So if my grandmother is saying something, if my father is saying, what benefit is for me? If it is going to benefit me, it is fine. If it is not going to benefit me, it doesn't mean anything. Take an example. For example, if I'm saying to my son or daughter that leave the bed early in the morning, the person doesn't find any merit out of that. Why I should leave the bed? What is the importance of that? What I will do by leaving the bed early in the morning? There are a lot of industrialists, a lot of entrepreneurs who leave the bed at 10 a.m. in the morning, and they are millionaires and billionaires. So why I will do that? Now the struggle of the mother and father is that it is good for your health, so you should do that. Now they will ask a question that we are not in a bad health. We are already in a good health. So why I will leave this? So now again we are contesting, again we are arguing, and then we are completely trapped in this. Now the question comes that when we live in such type of age where profit is everything, where utility is everything, where result is everything, where data is everything. So do we mean to say that it is a dark age? No, not at all. Not at all. It's a good age, it's a competitive age, and we need to accept a lot of good things, which is also happening. But before putting or instilling values, we first have to read it. That our purpose is fine, that we want to see our children caring, we want to see our children courageous, we want to see our children truthful, we want to see our children compassionate, accepted. But we have to change the fabric of compassion. We have to change the mean, how we are going to take it to them, because that has changed dramatically. I will give you a very good example out of this. When I was writing my first book, Being Good, it was on human values and ethics. I completed in 2019, 19. So my father asked me, so you have completed the first chapter, Nanditesh? Yeah, I said, yes, I have completed. So he said, so how you felt after writing the, on human values? I said, no, my character was not convinced that I should write on human values. He said, what? He said, yes, my character was not convinced that writers should write on human values. So my character was saying that you should make me powerful rather than making me idealistic. So the first chapter has gone between the powerful and powerless. Somebody wants to become powerful, that's all. There has been a glamour in that power, whether it is a muscular power, whether it is a physical power, or either it is a voice power, the dominating part. So my character doesn't want to go with simple human values. Okay, then it was being done. Now then I went to my second chapter. So one day again, my parents asked from me, so what about the second chapter? So I said that my characters have given no space for human values even in the second chapter also. So who has got their space? My father asked. And I said that my characters were saying that they want economic value now. Money, and more money. Then the writer was trying to propose human values. They said it is of no use. If you have money, if you have more money, it will be taken care of. So it is not of no use. So a writer was also convinced that in the first, somebody wants to become powerful. In the second, somebody wants to hold that power with more money. And so there is no limitation of that money. I moved to the third chapter. And in the third chapter, again, my family got surprised, and myself also, that my character said that I need an identity. And that identity cannot come with the name. I want a profile. So it was a profile value. So the third chapter went for a profile value. So I was writing a book on human values. And the first 3 chapters of the generation has taken the profile value, the economic value, and the value of powerful. So now the husband and wife were ready to take their children to the school. So they were waiting for the school bus. So, but both were very sad, gloomy, sobbing. So the little bird asked from the God, why these powerful people are sobbing? Why this rich couple are sobbing? Then God said that their children are going to school. They said, then why they're sobbing? It's a good. Their children are going in international school with all comfort. Why they are sobbing? Then the little bird said, the God said to the little bird that the lady or the man are sad because their children are very soft. So they are expecting that the bus driver, when they will drive the bus, they will put the brake gradually. So their children can hold the rods of the seat, not feel the jerk. So the bird said, what they are asking more? They said that the bus conductor should hold the hands of the children like the person holds a flower. They are so soft. Okay. The bird again asked, what more? Then the God said, when their children used to take lunch, they always need a glass of water simultaneously. So they need the very caring teacher in the class who should be always looking towards their children, and that they should always provide, whenever they are taking lunch, the teacher should provide a glass of water. So the bird was very much mesmerized what God is saying. And then finally the bird asked, you want to say something? The God said, yes, their children are soft. So they need a courageous friend in the school who should be very courageous, but who should always protect them, that nobody should push their children from behind. But that boy or girl should be innocent, but courageous. So the bird asked a question from the God. Their children are going in school, so they don't need anybody with a profile value. They don't need anybody with economic value. They don't need anybody powerful. They need only good human beings. Whether they have met such type of world. God said, because their children are now on the road, say they don't want powerful people. They don't want even rich people. They don't want even big profiles. They just want good human beings. That's all. They want human values to be walked because their children are now moving. The bird asked, have they made that world? God vanishes. This is the challenge. The first chapter has to be the human values. It has gone to the fourth chapter. And that patience a mother has to keep. That patience a father has to keep. That patience a grandmother and grandfather has to keep, which as a writer, I kept. If they want to go to the gym, if they want to become powerful, let them become powerful. If they want to become a man of profile value, let them become a man of profile value. But yes, you have to gradually enter in their world. So let's begin now how human values can be inculcated among children. It is not tough. It is a bit easy. Children always believe that my mother and father are a bit a unique personality. They have this perception or they have this image in their personality about their parents. But when the parents are unique personality, when the parents don't speak too much, when their parents enjoy the life with silence, then they are unique personality. When parents will speak too much, then what will happen? Then the parents are normal personality for their children. So because when you will speak, you will put do's and don'ts. When you will put do's and don'ts, then children will feel that you are more like a teacher and the principal. So they will not find anything unique. So you will always see those children, when they will not find their parents, they will always say that, oh, my mother used to say this, my father used to say this. And they will always try to draw all type of uniqueness when they are not in front of them physically. But when they are in front of them physically, they will feel that there is nothing unique in my parents. They are like a normal parents because they dictate too many things to us. So what is the first best way? Best way is non-verbal cues has to be very powerful. Your smile has to be very powerful. Rather than one soft good morning and a smile. That is enough. That has to be very powerful. Now, as a father and mother, I want to make my son and daughter somebody who loves studies. Just take an example. Somebody who loves studies. So what father and mother can do to a 10-year-old son and daughter or to a 5-year-old son and daughter? They can do only one thing. And what is that? The first non-verbal cue will be, they will organizing their books and copies. Why they are organizing the books and copies? Because it is the books and copies of their children. So they are just organizing it. And the second part, most of the time in the leisure time, children are finding that their father and mother, most of the time they live around the books. They don't talk, they read. And when till the time I am not asking anything, even my father doesn't say what I am reading. So they don't want to emerge bigger in knowledge. Rather than they are very much vulnerable, humble when they read. So for example, mother is reading and son is coming in mother's room. And son asked, what are you reading, mama? And the mama said, oh, come, sit. And mama closes the book. So what mama is saying? I was waiting for you. Come. So son felt that my mother was reading. He has already observed it. He has already captured it. But the best of the virtue, mother left for me. So he closed the book and he looked towards me. She asked, how am I? She wants to listen to me. But two things happen here. What two things happen here? The first one was, that the mother was capable enough to pass on the culture of reading to his son and daughter, the image. And the second was, mother was not a principal in front of son and daughter. Mother has been vulnerable mother. So when the son and daughter visited her room, when son and daughter came to meet her, she has emerged as a mother. Now, this is very important, that she has emerged as a mother. So that brief second of meeting that has happened, mother has established herself as a mother. So whenever there is an interaction with the little boys and girls in the family or on phone, mother or father must try that they should not leave a single second of meeting. Whatever they are doing, they are busy on phone or they are reading. If they are reading, then they will do two things. They will pass on the virtue of reading, and then they will be standing as a mother. If they are cleaning the house, they will pass the virtue of sanitation, and then they will meet as a father and mother. If they are cooking, they can pass the ability to cook, and again they are meeting as a father and mother. So if they are doing any good work, then they can do it simultaneously. But most of the time, what happens when son and daughter with their age, when they visit and come to meet their father and mother, they find them busy or with certain do's and don'ts or devoid of words. Now, this is a challenge in human values. What do we say when we say human values? Human values are valuing human feelings. This is human values. So when we say human values, we are trying to propose to value those human feelings. So the feelings of trust, the feelings of care, the feelings of empathy, I am trying to value that. Therefore, I am saying human values. So when I say morality, so what I try to propose? I try to propose that this has been moral and this has been immoral in my community and my society. So my feelings, first, is the most important component in the personality. So if my son and daughter are not groomed with the feelings of care, concern, courage, trust, then how the softest and the hardest feeling of honesty, integrity, and these all things will emerge when they will become adult. It will be not easy. So when we are talking to son and daughters, we have to pick those soft human values. So you'll ask from me, Nanditesh, can you share a few soft human values? So the first softest human value is care. This is the softest human value. So what do you mean by care? Care means whoever person is around me is dependent on me. This is care. Whoever the person. So grandson and grandmother is living in a house. So grandson knows that my grandmother is also dependent on me, because when I am in home, it is my duty to serve a glass of water to her. She is alone. So I must talk to him. So this subtle human values can be ingrained softly by the grandmother to the grandson, that my son, I am dependent on you, or you are dependent on me. So this care goes very well when it is being transferred in terms of dependency. So when we go old age, what happens? And when we took birth, what happens? We only need this value with the value of care. To run the society at the time of birth, from the cradle to the grave, we need this human value. So particularly when somebody is a child in the home, the child doesn't need anything more, rather than the child should feel that my parents are always there for me. It means the dependency factor, and that dependency factor relates the person. Now this is important. When you feel dependable, you get related. So it is easy to have a pet in the home. Why we keep a pet in the home? We have a German Shepherd in the home, we live with a German Shepherd in the home, and dogs have canine, still we believe that dogs are not going to bite us. So human being and pet can live together. What is the reason? The reason is not rationality. Reason is not knowledge. Reason is human values. The value, the feeling that the dog feels that the lady or the man is taking care of me, and man feels that this pet is taking care of me. And this caring process creates between A and B. So if you want to relate with somebody, so when we say the largest democracy, it means we are saying that the value of care should be felt by the last person with the top person. So the top person and the last person, when they always are successful in exchanging that value of care, it means we are not minimal democracy, we are maximum. Really, the softest human values which should be transferred to the children is first the care. The second softest value is promise. P-R-O-M-I-S-E, promise. It is the softest human values. So how it will work? For example, mother says to the son that tomorrow I will be watching cartoon with you. Son will say, no, you cannot watch, you will get bored. You will say, but you will not watch with me. Mother will say, promise. So gradually he will realize that whenever my mother says promise, it is counted. So one day, son was going to school and he was nervous because of his exam. And the mother on the school bus stop said to him that, okay, you will be not nervous in the exam. He will say, no, mama, I am very much nervous. And finally, mother said, no, you will not be nervous. You will have to say promise. Son said, oh, mama, don't say promise. I will be nervous. And finally, the mother again looked towards him. He boarded the bus and mother said, promise. And suddenly a spark happened and the son said, promise. Now he took this feeling of promise to the examination table while delivering the exam. And when he returned, he confirmed to the mother that, yes, mother, I have promised you. It has worked with me. How I will be nervous a lot. I was nervous, but not as I was thinking that I will be nervous. So the value of promise is the softest value, but it is the building constructs of human beings. We try to put a lot of big things to our children. That is not needed. If the care is happening, the interdependency and interrelationship is happening. If the promise is happening, first time parents and children will realize the power of the words, the power which comes from the vocal cords. So when I write something or when I speak something, it has a weight. It is it is so powerful that when my father said something to me, and that something to me means everything to me, because I believed it's a promise of my father. So promise is everything. If we live in the world of promise, we have to believe that it will be a beautiful world. So the third softest value is the value of courage, which is very important. The value of courage for the children. So what do you mean by value of courage? Value of courage means that I believe that this action is right, but I am finding darkness. Still, I wish to move. This is value of courage. I know that there is a darkness around. I know that I don't know what will happen, but I still believe that this action is right. For example, the son said, or the daughter said to the mother or father that I wish to be a pilot, and they are from the lower middle class or lower class. they know well that to make them a pilot, we need a lot of money. So there was a darkness around. But the lower class father or mother dreamt and finally have that courage that they stood by their son or daughter and said, yes, if you have dreamt, you will become a pilot. Go with your dream. We are with you. Now, this value of courage is a soft, but this is the value which stabilizes all values. So when I say that I have a value of courage, it means I am saying that I have a courage to walk with promise. So if I have a courage to walk with promise, then certainly I will take care of those people who are dependent on me. It means I have a great regard for value of care. So these three soft values, care, promise, and courage, will help us to build our wonderful relationship through human values with our children. So now the question is, what is the challenge? Challenge will be simple. Maybe the courage will not work. Maybe you will work very hard on courage. Maybe the promise will be broken. Lot of times the promise will be broken. But what about care? Can anybody break the care? No. Whether there is a dark tunnel in the care? Not at all. Not at all. Where there is a darkness around the care? No. How you speak, that depicts your care. How you listen, that depicts your care. How you serve, that depicts your care. How you are present, that depicts your care. So care is everything. So if you lose these two values, the values of promise and courage, and still you have a values of care with you, you have to trust that your children will have a wonderful relationship with you, because in the value of care, you don't have too many words. You don't have too many words. You have a simple exchange of dependence and interdependence between A and between B. So what we care, basically, what we care? We care for feelings, great. We care for those words which other party is speaking, great. We care for the presence of that person. We care for the health. We care for the food. We care for those virtues. We care for those dreams. We care for those happiness. So for everything we care, that is important. And that care finally ensures that this value will reach to my children or my grandchildren. So please, to ladies and all ladies who are connected here at present, I will say, don't get too much, bothered in this modern era, rather than, because what market is saying that if you are caring, so that caring has to be counted. Now that caring has to be objective. That caring must be with a consumer mindset. That caring should be with a product mindset. So if you give somebody a product, you present somebody X thing, and you sound that I am very caring. No, you have to take the care beyond the product. And this is all about inculcating human values among children. So if you are buying a mobile for your son and daughter, or if you are giving a bucks to your son and daughter, some money to son your daughter, and they feel that my parents are very much caring, it's a raw caring. It's a raw caring. It's a caring which shelf life is less. But when they will find that no, they need the mother rather than the product, they need the father rather than the product. So when they replace the product and count the person rather than the product, now here you are successful as a mother or father in passing on the value of care to your children. So I will just conclude it here. For the first part of our session is that how to inculcate human values to our children. Answer comes to me with the value of care, provided that value of care is successful in replacing the product with human feelings. If it is that, then your value has a sustainable shelf life. If it is not, then it will be just a window dressing. And again, your values will be struggling. And you will find that your son and daughter is not understanding what you have communicated. This is the first part. Now I'm coming to the second part. So you all can, put your questions till the first part so that you can understand that, okay, we came here till this part. So if you'll ask from me, when you see the Western world and when you will see the Eastern world, you will find that in the Western world, in the class 9 or class 8, when the boys and girls leave their house and they start making money and they start becoming independent, that is fine. But there is a process of disconnect also from the family. So a lot of foreigners from abroad used to come to India and try to understand how people live in village or live in civil, how 40 persons live together. So they were very much surprised that how 40%, 20% can live together. Even today, 2 persons are not willing to live together, but there has been a time when 10% used to live together. And why they were able to live together? They were able to live together because the value of care was traveling 360 degrees in the family. It doesn't have that one direction, rather than it has been all direction, connecting with the grandmother, connecting with the grandfather, connecting with the niece, connecting with the cousin, connecting with everybody. And that has made a broader, wonderful family, the institution of family, because value of care has been. Now the second part is how to inculcate values among the youth. And the answer is, you have to wait, because the youth has a simple and stubborn thought process. Now they are not raw as a child, rather than they have their own framework, their do's and don'ts. So their rationality is now governing them. Their thoughts are now controlling them. So you have to be now a bit patient. Now here you cannot straight jump. Rather than, you will have to first understand that what's the framework of their thinking process. What is their liking and dislike? What is the definition of their right and wrong? How they see what is right and what is not right, what is wrong and what is not wrong. Now here it is very, very important. With the children, you have to be quiet and they will read you with image. But when you listen, when you are with your young boys and girls, you don't need to be quiet. Rather than you have to be a great listener here. So when you will listen, you will find that for my son and daughter, these actions are right. These actions are not right. This career is right. This career is not right. This habit is right. This habit is not right. So when you understand these things, that yes, this is the framework of my son and daughter, and my son and daughter used to think in that way. Now here, you must understand that when you are proposing a human values, so what will be that human values? Whether if you will feel that my son and daughter is not respecting me, now here is a point. If you will feel that my son and daughter is not respecting me, and I want to pass on the value of respect to my son and daughter, then you can only do it when you can understand their framework of reasoning. And when you will understand their framework reasoning, and then you can ask a fundamental question to them, where respect stands. So if your son and daughter wants to go in software industry, do they don't respect their customers? You need to understand and ask. Do they don't respect their bosses, their superiors? You need to ask. Whether they don't respect their colleagues, you need to ask. So the value of respect has a magic. If you are successful in passing on the value of respect to the young generation, trust me, you have done wonders in that relationship. So you will ask from me, sir, what is value of respect? Value of respect is first accepting and listening. Accepting and listening to the other person. So whoever your son and daughter is, what type of liking and disliking the person has, you have accepted the person. When you have accepted the person, you are ready to listen. So when you are ready to listen, the value of respect gets a chance to be seeded in the family. So the value of care has been with with children. but the value of respect has to be with the youth. And the more you are, you can say, keen to pass on this, the easy will be the interpersonal relationship between you and your son and daughter. Now I can give you an example on that, and you can understand. Most of the time I see in families that parents say that my son and daughter watch it too much time on phone. They don't listen to parents. They are always on phone. They keep on awake until the wee hours. Their lifestyle has been lethargic. So now they don't listen. It means what? There is no respect for the parents in the eyes of children. So how you will start putting yourself in their framework? How you will try to propose yourself? And the answer comes when you will come and you will sit with them when they are doing something, and you will try to understand what they are doing, why they are doing this, what they do on Facebook, what they do on Instagram, how to run that Instagram, what needs to be done. So when you come in their life, when you will try to be a part of their life, it means you are ready to accept them the way they are. Rather than saying straight that Instagram is good or bad, rather than saying straight that one should not spend time on Twitter, one should come in their life. One should be with them. So what will happen then? The more you will come in their life, the more you will listen, the more you will accept. So the more you will accept, the more you will listen. The process of respect will emerge. And the moment the process of respect will emerge, your son and daughter will accept you as you are. And you will also accept your son and daughter as he or she is. So this is very, very important. Whether my son and daughter are accepting me and whether I am ready to accept my son and daughter. Most of the time, we are not ready to listen to them because our views are very powerful. So we are not willing to listen to them. Most of the time, we are not ready to accept their habits because we believe that these habits are not good. Therefore, it is not right. But the question is, are we successful in showing our dissent? Whether there is any result out of that, or it is only bringing acrimony in the family. What is happening? If the result is negative, it means that the respect is also diminishing gradually in that relationship. So the best way is that if we will the value will be the value of respect. What will be the second value? The second value is you trust. You trust the young boy. You trust the young girl. You trust. It doesn't mean that they will not cheat you. They will cheat you. Still you say you trust. And you will give the meaning of the trust to them. What is trust all about? You can ask from me, what is the trust all about? Trust means not validating the actions of another person, rather than believing that the person will be doing that action. So you are not validating anything. You know that this person will be with you. You know that this person is going to act the way you are expecting. So you are not validating, you are not reviewing, you are not putting any camera lens to review that, to understand that, because you trust that person. So trust is unique. Trust is unique. And the respect breeds trust. You need to understand. If you have a respect in relationship, then it will breed trust also. So the institution of the marriage is cracking. Why? Because the institution of marriage doesn't have that respect. That husband and wife doesn't have that respect for each other. So when they are not respecting each other, from where the trust will come? So the trust has been a broken glass in the husband and wife relationship. And if that trust is a broken glass, so now it is a vicious circle. It goes to their children. So the caring is missing, and that caring has taken in by the dominant part. The lady wants to control the son and daughter. The man wants to control the son and daughter. And finally, we go in that vicious circle. And that due to that vicious circle, the families, the institution of marriage, the institution of family the institution of values finally struggle to survive. And then the market get a chance to enter in our life, and they capture our taste, they capture our values, they capture our habits, and they control completely our interaction. And finally, we feel the happiness is in the market. So when you feel that when a family goes in a mall, they are happy. They are a happy family. And when they are in a home, they are not a happy family, because there their happiness is controlled by the market. So they feel that there is a care by the market. So in the market, those couples are God. In the market, their children are gods, and market takes care of them. So the all values of care, all values of promise, all values of trust, all values of respect, these all things are being visible when the markets treat their customers. So we feel very happy when we are in the market. But the moment we return, the moment we come to the home, we are not the same person. So children are happy with their so-called friends, but they are not happy with their parents. Why? Because they believe whoever they are being accepted by their friends. Whoever they are being respected by their friends. And so that due to that respect, the trust has happened. The friend never tries to validate their action, but their parents tries to validate their action. So if you will, I just want to put everything in brief to all of you due to the virtual platform, this one, that in our life, what I have practiced, I can share with all of you, and what my experience is from so many years, that if we want to excel with human values first, we have to be first with the soft human values, caring. So the journey has to begin with care. So the mother will be care and mother-in-law will be not caring. It cannot go like that. Husband will be not caring and brother will be caring. It cannot go like that. Daughter will be caring or sister will be caring and wife will be not caring. It cannot go like that. If I am caring irrespective of the relationship. It cannot be a half-baked cake. Values are there or values are not there. We cannot be selective. If you are caring, you are caring. If you are not caring, you are not caring. We cannot say that we live with 6 persons and we care A and we will not care B. I will care B and I will not care C. And the same thing happened with the promise also. If I am a man of promise, I will be a promising person for my boss, for my superiors, for my mother, for my father, for my children, for my wife, or for my friends, for my sister, for anybody. So this is the interesting part with human values. You cannot try to make human values a selective case, that I will be putting human values here in this relation and I will be not putting human values in that relation. It cannot be like that. Therefore, in the families, in the joint families, why the joint families have been successful? Because one person took a call that out of these 40 persons, nobody will be selective, that the A is going to be showing human values with the son and A is not going to show the human values with the cousin. Not at all. That human values of care, that human values of respect, that human values of promise, or that human values of trust will travel smoothly in the family. And therefore, the families have been saved. When you see the modern marriage system, when you see the modern families, here we are highly selective. Highly selective. So A is saying that I will be caring for you, but A is also saying that I will be not caring for another person in the family. So what will be the state of human values? Human values became selective. Then what will happen to the children? Children will feel that my mother and father are partial. They are biased. So they will be not relating well. They will be not finding that proper sound convincing image for human values. And somewhere they will feel that my mother and father have vertical height and they are trying to dictate the terms. Memories have to be uniform in terms of human values. If the son is remembering the father, then the son should be always in peace when he or she, when he is remembering the mother or father. And that peace will be that my father has been a man who has always walked with trust, who has always walked with courage. There should be no unnecessary examples which should confuse the son or daughter about the state of human values in the family or between the couple, mother or father. That we have to understand very well. We are living in an age, I'm saying, where there is my truth and your truth, where truth is contesting every day. Every day it is contesting. So we are struggling to say the righteous thing to our family members. We feel that somebody will feel bad if I will try to put my statement to her or him. We are very much cautious. And this is not right. This is not good as a human being, as a person. So my suggestion to all of you will be humble suggestion, I would say, rather than, because I know what kind of experience you all are carrying in your life. And you all are living a wonderful life with human values. But only adding on certain thing, I can say that, yes, let's experiment this more in our life. Let's more have an image for our younger children. And let's have more around trust and respect with those who are not child rather than a bit adult. And let's see what type of result is coming. But before that, we need to understand one thing more. And that is, we should not try to remove this fact that we are controlled by market. We should not try to remove this fact that our habits and choices are being controlled by online virtual platforms. We are living in the world of likes. We should not try to say it is wrong. No, nothing is wrong. This is a fact of modern era and we have to accept it. That's all. Now, in that era, we have to find a space for human values. And human values is not a quantified process. It's a complete qualitative process. So how we can establish it? So the more we live in silence, the more we live in peace, the more we live by examples, the more we live by images, the more we are accepting the other person, the more we are trying to relating with other person, the more there is a chance that there will be a time when that other person will certainly feel that my mother and father used to love me a lot. You have to give the person a chance. Therefore, I always say write letters rather than send mails or messages, because letters are in handwriting. And handwriting is different. Father's handwriting is different from mother's handwriting. We need to understand. I was reading the book called Healer of the chairman, Mr. Pratap Reddy of Apollo Hospital. And in that Healer, he wrote that how he used to get a letter from his father on his birthday on 5th of Feb. And his father used to write in the regional language to his son. And one day he found in that letter that his father used to was saying that you have certain responsibility for your samajam, for your desham, so you should return to India. So when he was willing to return to India from America, so great doctors were saying that why you are taking such a decision? You have so much of luxury, so much of success in America, such a comfortable life. Then Mr. Reddy writes in that book that he said, you don't know what does it mean in India when a father says something to the son. You don't know what it means in India. And then he returned to India. Now you see that even in the modern era, even in America, even in such a Western world, he was still there to listen to that father. He kept on waiting for those letters. Because letters gives us a chance to read and differentiate the handwriting, and that handwriting enough gives us a chance to connect with the father and mother. Letters are not deleted. Either we tore that letter, but we cannot delete that letter. Letters are not put in the recycle bin. And letter doesn't look like a mail. It's a letter with emotion. So if you want to connect with younger generation, young son and daughter, write letters. It will work. Write letters, particularly in their birthdays, particularly in the new year, particularly in certain important function, certain around festivals. Fixed a date that they should always wait for your letters. It will somewhere connect you with your son and daughter, wherever they are. And they will always give a chance because letters are referred. Letters are referred. And when you will write, it will be a big pause when you will write because you are writing a letter. It will be a big pause. You will become choke. You will become emotional. You will not get right. And there will be no Microsoft Word which will say that this spelling is not right. You replace it. There will be no green line and red line or blue line will be there. There will be no autocorrect option. So the boy or the girl can see the struggle, can see the pain, can feel it, that how deeply I have traveled in the mind of my mother, in the heart of my mother and father. So people used to ask from me that what will be a suggestion for the young generations, particularly the children. I always say to them that think through your brain. And what about adults? I tell them think through your heart. Because heart is missing. Heart is not beating of adults. Products are beating. So I want the young adults should be beating through heart. Then they can listen the heartbeats of their old age parents who are somewhere in their cities and village after retirement and living with those memories. Their heart has to be beat. And what about the young ones from 10 to 15 or 5 to 15? I always tell them that you should think through your brain. Use your wisdom well. Use your wisdom well. You start thinking then what is right and what is not right, so that your foundation can be strong, so that from very early age, you can differentiate between gray and the white and black. We are missing these all things. So my humble suggestion to all of you is write, listen, speak less. That's all. And don't speak less because you are angry, not at all. You speak less because you want to listen to the other person. Speak less. There is always saying that don't raise your voice, raise your arguments. It has been always said कि आवाज ऊंची ना करें, दलीलें ऊंची करें. So that's the point in our life. And last part, which is very, very important. We have a fixed time. Don't take it for granted. So if somebody doesn't want to relate, you relate. If your daughter is not loving you, you should love because you know that you have a fixed time. Your son is not loving you, you love because you know that you have a fixed time. And what you need to do, you need to keep on writing those letters that how much you love him. You need to do that. You need to do that. If you will keep on doing that, then what will happen? You will never feel that you are becoming alone in your life. You will never feel that you have not done your emotion. You have not transferred your emotion to your son and daughter. You will feel, I took birth. I became a human being. I became young. I got married. I have kids. My son and daughter loved me a lot, or my son and daughter has not understood me. But I know I have a fixed time. A time will come when I will be a setting sun. A time will come when I will leave the world. So what? I will write something for my son and daughter. Every week, fortnightly, I will write something for them. I will put them in an envelope I will write a date on that, so that till the time I'm alive, when they have not understood my feelings, maybe wherever I am, my son and daughter will always open that envelope and will understand that there was my father and mother who used to take care of me. That's the journey of human values. That more you will feel it, the more you will emerge out of that. And what about rationality and wisdom? The more you will think of it, the more you will become better in you. So my all good wishes and thanks to all of you that you gave me a chance to speak at this forum, and particularly Madam Ravindran, that she has been always kind and the same, that the way she used to be 12 years before. And that shows that how much profound human values she has. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Now I'm ready for your questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nanditesh Nilay. Here, nobody knows me as Ravindran. Everybody calls me Bhuvaneshwari. After coming to Kerala, yes, that is what the difference is.
Okay, so I have this, I can say like that. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And yeah, it was a very good talk that you delivered. Yes, we have to accept the era that we are in, and we have to live according to that and make the most of it, the best of it. It was quite interesting to know, like the value of courage. What you said as value of courage will lead to keeping promises, and then it will lead to care. That that was very interesting to note, and many of the things you said, and of course you talked about value of respect and value of trust, and I hope everybody has enjoyed, and we can have a interaction now. Anybody who would like to talk can unmute and ask.
Can I do?
Yeah, sure, Kamini. Yeah, sure, Kamini ji.
I am Kamini, a member of the Trivandrum branch. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening.
It was a very interesting, thought-provoking talk. As you know, we are all senior citizens, but then everything what you told was thought-provoking. I would like to again stress on the fact that you have mentioned the joint family was a very good platform for mobilizing values among children and everybody. Isn't it so?
Yes,
so
ma'am.
That because of the nuclear families, we have many problems. Parents don't have time to give listening ear to their children, and the husband and wife relationship may not be as much strong as was earlier, etc. So there, the point of joint family is being stressed. Second one which you told was respect for the children, respect the parents. Okay. Now, I was working in a college, so government college. So we had about 90% of the girls were poor. Okay. Now, this is the time when technology has come into our life so much that all the children or even the rich people have iPhones and pocket money, they have, etc. So, in such a situation, will the poor children have any respect for the parents? I don't know. Okay.
Should I answer? Should I say something? Okay.
Yeah. So
answer is simple.
I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure of that.
I will try. I will try. We see in the COVID has shown us a wonder. In my book, Being Good, though I was not knowing that the moment I will complete my book and the COVID will appear. In my book, God has been so kind that the God has given all power and resources to the middle class, but health and togetherness to the lower class.
Exactly.
Now that when there was a lockdown, the boys and girls were ready to die, but they said that we will travel 1400 kilometers to meet their parents, to go to their village. If they will die in between, it is fine. but they will be going, and they traveled 1400, 1500 kilometers. It means what? It means what? They don't have the Google Fit. They don't have any mediums to go. They have only their emotions, love, memories, and their Baba and Amma. Now see that all organic foods are taken by us. All resources being taken by us. They don't, because the character is always tested in tough times. What type of society you are. And middle class was a spineless, completely lost class with all resources, and the lower class emerged like anything. So the value of respect is still with that lower class. Still they believe that sense of togetherness is there. They can dream to become a collector. They can dream to qualify an IIT. They can dream to change the character of their families. They wish to become like that. This is the basic problem, that the middle class has been completely arrested by the aspirations and the dominance of market. But the lower class is still there. Is still there, I will tell you, with their emotions and values. So that should be the learning. That should be the learning for the middle class. If middle class can learn this from the lower class, trust me, it will be a great sense of achievement for any nation building process. And here middle class has discouraged us. Resourceful class has discouraged us. Lower class is still there with values. But the middle class is very much discouraging, very much discouraging. And they have showed also in the COVID time that how much emotionally and physically they are unfit. How
Thank
much?
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Kamini, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
There are some comments in the chat box. Shall I read it out?
Oh, please.
Jamila ji, she's here, Jamila Begum. She has written very thought-provoking talk. Thank you. How do you think we can help kids with drug addiction?
Okay, it's simple. In the drug addiction, you just remove the drug and accept the person. The more you will accept the person, you have to reach to the person. You have to see the shivering hands of that person. I have worked with drug addict patients, so I can share with you. You can see that shivering part of the hand. You have to understand the lips, which is not uttering the right word. You have to sit beside the person without saying anything, so that the person can wait for you. I visit lot of old age homes, I will tell you. Those old ladies have lost memories. But the moment I will go, they will somewhere, I don't know what happens to them. They feel that they have been waiting for me. And I know they are not recognizing me, who am I? But they have been waiting for me. They are touching my cheek. They want that I just used to go and sit beside them. Say nothing to them. So with the drug patients or any bad habit, you just live with that person rather than with the habit. You just be with the person. So when you will be together, then the person will get the strength to leave the drug. So my son or daughter or anybody on this earth is in the bad habit. Stand with your son and daughter. Stand with your son and daughter, and you will see then the sense of correction will happen. Problem with such children is the moment they go in the bad habit, they don't sit under the tree. They just roam. Under the tree means parents. So they don't have that under the tree shade.
Yeah, there is always a peer pressure.
Always. So if parents emerge as under the tree, okay, son is taking drug. The whole world is saying that your son is wrong. Mother is sitting with the son. Mother is saying, I am with you. And why you are taking drugs? You have to share your pain with me. I am there to listen to you, but I will save your life. I am with you. And that is all about fatherhood and motherhood. Son and daughter are 1% of father and mother. Ansh hai wo, ansh. They are not in totality. They are 1% of their parents. We need to understand that 1% needs not only physical part from the parents, but that emotional and spiritual part from their parents. And this is all about whoever the son is. Parents are saying that world on the other side and my son is in this other side. That should be the courage. This is value of courage. Society is not my ansh, but my son is my ansh. I will stand by my son, and I will stand till the last breath that he should come on the right path. That is the point, that when we all will start working, society will be great. But what happens? The parents are shaped. What other people will say? What others are not my ansh. My son is my ansh. He is my 1%. My daughter is my 1%. The person has been misguided. That's all. I was willing that he should be a breeze. He became a storm. Fine. But I will stand by her. That courage we need. Parents have lost that courage.
Yeah.
And that courage has lost, ma'am. And therefore, those Facebook friends, Instagram friends are controlling everything. Because the real society, the real owner or source of that ansh has lost the courage. Mother is not talking. Father is angry. Father is saying that you have put bad name for me. Now this boy and girl doesn't understand where to go now. And the more they want to come out, the more they go in that vicious circle. This is the...
Could I add to something here?
Please, ma'am, please.
This is Dr. Kumi. Dr.
Okay.
Kumi.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it connects with this, I just thought I'd bring this up. I think parents today really need to educate themselves on these issues of addiction and other things like cyber crimes. It's not as simple as it sounds. I was recently talking to the National Security Database head, Mr. Rajshekhar, and the kind of things that he told me are things I would never have imagined. That, if, for instance, very simple things like children in schools and colleges, if they don't get that many likes from their friends, then they are excluded. Nobody has lunch with them. Nobody sits with them. They get desperate. And of course, the unethical media lords, they allow you to buy those likes. So children do anything to get money to buy those likes. And that unfortunately also includes exposing body parts. So, and they create avatars, they do all kinds of things. So I think as adults, as parents, I think it's extremely important that we educate ourselves in order to be able to help them. Because we don't have a clue that these are not things they're going to open up, even if we show them love, care, respect, and everything. And this comes from the best of families. So I just thought I'd bring this issue in. It's a very serious issue.
Well received, ma'am. Well received. Wonderful. Wonderful. I think you are 100% right. Yes, we need to all parents need to be educated on this. Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome. Very welcome.
Anybody else? Of course, there are one or two in the chat box. Thank you, sir. I would like to connect with you. That's what Rajini has said. And Rajini ji, yeah. I can leave. Can I leave your number in the chat box?
Yes, please write down my number.
Okay, okay. Then Kumari Shashikala says very nice. And yes, I don't know the name. Samsung only it is written. Thanks for the interesting and deeply rooted talk on values. So lucidly done in simple terms. That's it. These are in the chat box. And is there anybody else who would like to talk? Kalyani ji, was there somebody else who would like to talk? Sir, would you like to talk? Ayar sir? Yeah. Okay, Geeta also, after Ayar sir. Geeta, after Ayar sir, 1 minute.
Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
No. I think I have heard one of the best lectures on parents' responsibilities and then the whole scenario. In fact, I have always believed what he has propounded in this lecture, particular lecture. And I have felt in my life also the same thing, because my parents or the parents' responsibilities I have seen, and my parents have guided us in such a manner that not words, but their behavior. That behavior was very important. In fact, my mother was so-called uneducated from the present day standards. I am 97 now, and my mother is older, who has lost long ago, passed away. But what she has taught me, and to be what I am today, is still green with me, because parents have a lot of responsibility for their children. And the moment a child is born in a family, the father and mother must be really very cautious about their child. And then they have to be very careful in bringing up their children. And nearly 50% of their character depends upon what they show. In fact, that is what I feel. Because in addition to what we imbibe as DNA in our own systems, the way that they behave, that they talk, the words that they use, and then how they go, and then how they work, all these things are very keenly observed by those two eyes. And then they have really a very great impact on the development of a character of a child. So that is why the responsibility of a parent is extremely important. It's not enough to enjoy that if a son is born or girl is born, whatever it is, but the responsibility is thereupon. Up to 5 years, how they have to develop their character, and 6 to 16, the most important age where they get disciplined by the parents, because parents are the nearest gurus. They believe absolutely that they are gods, and whatever they speak, they believe in it. So that is, they try to emulate whatever they speak, whatever words they use, however they walk, in fact, or behave with others. All these things they will be very keenly observing. And unless we are very efficient in that one, unless we ourselves are up to that expectation, it's very difficult to bring up a child to expect them to behave better in their lives. And in fact, I have always been of the opinion that our parents are responsible in our earlier days to be what we are today, in addition to, of course, other factors like friends and the society, and then the modern gadgets and all that. But the parents' influence in the earlier days, earlier life of the child is an extremely important thing. And in fact, I have even written a book on that one, Amma, Appa, and Me, how my parents influenced my character today, and how I have been receiving that foundation for development of a character in those days itself. And that's why I firmly believe what our lecturer has eminently brought about in great detail. And I really am very grateful to him to emphasize the same points. And then we are very happy to have you here also. Thank you very much for the.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
I think, yeah, sorry. Dr. Nanditeshji, would you like to say anything about what sir said?
No, I think I'm grateful to listen to him first. He is so fit, that is already, so inspiring. So after 70, everybody should start losing the hope. But I think that is the hope, he is saying, living is the hope. I always believe that you keep on breathing and breathing with, healthy heart, healthy mind. And the way he has spoken it with all its authenticity, it was so clear to me. And whatever he has acknowledged, but, I am grateful to him, and certainly very, very motivating for a person like me and for everybody, that such great persons are still there who can motivate us by their presence, by their talk, by their ideas. And that is all about generation. That is all about generation. When we look towards the sky, there is always a hope. And senior people, or our parents, or our grandparents, or senior leaders, gurus, they are nothing less than a sky. We have to look up and take all ideas from them. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Jamila ji, you wanted to say something more?
Geeta
Yeah.
is on the line. Let Geeta talk and then I will.
Okay. Geeta Balasubramanian, बोलिए.
नमस्ते डॉक्टर साहब.
नमस्ते मैम.
और-
नमस्ते मैम.
हाँ, और जो जितनी भी बातें आपकी मैंने सुनी, वो सब बातें मेरे मन में थी और ऐसा लगता था कि कोई ऐसा हो जिससे मैं ये सब शेयर करूं. और आपने कोई भी ऐसा स्लॉट नहीं छोड़ा है कि जिसमें मैं आपको क्वेश्चन कर सकूं. लेकिन 2 चीज में मैं ज्यादा हाईलाइट करूंगी जो आपने बताया, जो मैंने अपने जीवन में भी अनुभव किया है कि लेटर्स का, बच्चों के साथ लेटर्स की जो अक्षरों की जो एक कनेक्टिविटी होती है वो बहुत स्ट्रांग होती है. और दूसरी बात ये है कि जब हम जो बोलते हैं अपने बच्चों को कि ये सही नहीं है, ये गलत है, उस टाइम में चुप रह जाना एक माँ के लिए या एक पिता के लिए बहुत बड़ी बात होती है. जब वो चुप हो जाते हैं और बच्चों के साथ कुछ नहीं बात करते हैं तो उन्हें फील होता है कि हम कहीं गलत थे.
वाह.
और उनकी जो चुप्पी है वो बच्चे सह नहीं पाते और फिर बच्चे मानते हैं कि आपने क्या कहा, एक बार फिर से बताइए कि हम कहाँ गलत थे. तो ये 2 चीजें मैंने जीवन में सीखी हैं कि जब मैं सही बताती हूँ बच्चों को और बच्चे ये मुझसे आर्ग्यू करते हैं और मेरी बात को मानने के लिए तैयार नहीं होते तो मैं चुप्पी साध लेती हूँ. कुछ देर के बाद वो खुद ही अपने मंथन करते हैं मस्तिष्क में और उनको माँ या पिताजी जो उनको बहुत केयर करते हैं, जब वो उनसे बात नहीं करते, उनसे इंटरेक्ट नहीं करते हैं, तब वे आते हैं और कहते हैं कि माँ मैं सुनने के लिए तैयार हूँ, आप क्या बोल रहे थे, मुझे मालूम है कि आप हमेशा मेरी अच्छाई के लिए ही बोले. तो ये 2 चीज है जो आपने अभी आपके स्पीच में कही है कि लेस टॉकेटिव, और दूसरी बात लेटर, खत लिखिए बच्चों के साथ. जो अक्षरों में जो क्षमता है दिल में उतरने की, मुझे नहीं लगता कि आज की कोई भी टेक्नोलॉजी में हो सकती. तो आज का जो आपका स्पीच था और जो भी आपके साथ जो इंटरेक्शन हुआ, इतना सुंदर, इतना अच्छा, मन में बहुत सुकून हो रहा है कि हम कहीं गलत नहीं थे.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Geeta. Geeta is a member of our SUVARNA, but she is so proficient. She writes in Kavita and everything in Hindi. She has studied in Madhya Pradesh. She is very happy to talk in Hindi. So it's a good opportunity for her. Very nice that you have spoken.
Could I say something, Bhuvaneshwari?
Yeah, sure.
I'm Rama.
Please. आप वीडियो ऑन करेंगे प्लीज. वीडियो ऑन करने से
Hello?
we can see you.
I do. Well, I'm okay. I wanted to say, sir, that this is one of a very, very good talk, very appropriate to the times, and very impressive. And I wanted to say that our NGO has conducted one survey amongst the junior college students here. And then this was categorized into physical, mental, emotional, and this cyber issues. And so many of them came out in the survey, and we were trying to address them with the help of the cybercrime, as well as parents and teachers and friends and all that. Kind of problems are very interesting. I could share it with you on a personal platform. But what you said about parents having to learn what's happening with the children, one lady mentioned it just now. I think that's extremely appropriate, because we're not able to understand their the platform on which they are dealing as against the platform on which we dealt. But what you said, I completely agree that emphasis on something fantastic. Letter, as Madam was also mentioning now, these are all really very performable activities, something one can follow. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Remaji.
Can I break it down?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Actually, I was very impressed by the way you put out this notion of writing letters. That is the same thing that I was going to say before Geeta also mentioned that. Today, no longer writing letters on paper with a pen, but it's more of writing letters on the computer or emails that are being sent. Do you think children in US, I know children are taught in schools to write letters to their parents on Mother's Day, on Father's Day, perhaps something that we should emulate here in India also, where children really take a paper and a pen and write, and it is not just on the email. Because as you said earlier, the type of love and feeling that goes into that writing is never there when you are doing it automatically on a computer. So this is a lesson that we are taking away from your talk. Thank you so much for bringing our attention to letter writing. Another thing that I really liked about that phrase that you said about don't raise your voice, but raise your arguments. This is something we find when parents teach their children. They sit down to teach them, and in no time at all, they lose their patience, and then they raise their voices, and the children go crying from the table at which they are studying. I think this is also something that we as grandparents here on this platform should tell to our children, who can then do it with their children. So thank you so much.
Wonderful, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Actually, this letter writing is something, I have also noted, and I didn't want to go on speaking. That's why I didn't say. Actually, we have a nostalgic memory. Whenever December comes, by middle of December, myself and my husband, we used to go to Chandni Chowk, that Chowdi Bazaar or some, I remember. We go there and get the New Year cards printed. Every person we used to send New Year cards. And still we have the New Year cards which we received. We have kept them, bundled. We don't feel like destroying them. But over the last so many years, we have lost that New Year card thing. And I just feel that you don't get that happiness in sending that, mails. We just put that everybody in your mailbox, you just send it. That connection is not there. Otherwise, we used to write one line for each person, separate line, and say, give your feelings. So we really miss that now. Though, of course, everybody use it. Even now, we have stopped that.
What of that, ma'am? No wedding cards also anymore.
Wedding cards. Now, no wedding cards.
Correct.
Thanks to COVID, now we are all used to being invited on the WhatsApp, So that is also there. Those things are there. So now, Ushaji, is there anybody else?
I'd just like to ask one thing, Bhuvneshwari ma'am. Sir, I want to know whether this learning of the parents, familiarizing them with the issues of the youth and the children, is there any kind of a education pattern that you can think of a kind of a module or something?
See, module is there with me only. I do that. So the module is there. But the question is that the best way is that the more, for example, in the corporates and in the organizations, I am putting the husband and wife both are coming in the class now. So this is the corporates have started experimenting it. That, for example, they used to do training programs or teaching programs for only their employees. But now they have realized that how much important that a couple should be in the class, so that all challenges and all learnings which are taking from the class, it should be, solutioning should be done jointly. Acceptance should be done jointly. Receiving should be done jointly. And that is helping them when they are connecting with their children. So this experiment has started happening from, particularly from, I will say, what I am doing or institution is doing with the corporates or in the online platforms. But yes, in the school and college, particularly in the schools, it is not still there the way it should be. Because where is the challenge? Challenge we need to understand. We are in a world where, particularly in the developing country like India, where people always been feeling that information is knowledge. So money, profile, position, and loads of information has made us immune to learn. We are not ready to learn anything. So that is creating so much of problem. So the more you are adult, the more it is difficult to pass on to this learning to them. So the best way is that we should have this online platform along with the corporates, but we should try that in school forums where we go for the parent teacher meeting, when we do that, or we should have certain sessions and classes for the parents jointly coming in the school, because where they always say that teachers are responsible to groom them. But when they will know that what school expects from them, or jointly from the parents, then it will be much easy for them to realize also, because their children are going to school. So from the school side, it will come to them, then it will be more beneficial. But yes, what I believe, that again the seed is in the institution of marriage. If in the institution of marriage is sipping or fractured, or it is not ready to respect and listen each other, then other next process is very difficult. So first we need to work on institution of marriage, then this parenting part will be more effective, rather than, if we are going, back vice versa, that first parenting, then the institution of marriage. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you, sir. This institution of marriage is really a questionable thing, because with the surrogacy and all that,
Yes, ma'am.
parenting also is becoming an issue.
Yes, ma'am. Because, we have taken, particularly the emotional part, we have already taken. We have made it more physical. And the more you make the institution of marriage and the childhood more physical, the more it will be difficult for the survival with human values. So the world is put together only because we are interrelated with nature. And it is not physical. It is not an output mode. Rather than it is more emotional, more sense of togetherness. So we should not try to change too much of the cycle of this cycle. और मैं हमेशा कहता हूँ एक बात बार बार कि the moment you say love, affection, respect, these all things are more emotional. So the more you are emotional in life, the more you are spiritual in life, the more sustainability will be about behavior correction and more urge to correct and refine oneself. But when we are more somewhere on the surface and consumerism and the physical part, the more it becomes difficult for a human being to realize that how deep a person's constructs are. Therefore, we all are struggling somewhere in all our life, and therefore institution of marriage also.
Anybody who would like to speak now? Anything? Geeta again? Okay, Geeta, yeah. You are muted, Geeta. You are muted.
Yes, sir. एक बात और मैं आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहूंगी कि जो बच्चे होते हैं जब छोटे रहते हैं, तभी पेरेंट्स का जो व्यवहार है और उनकी जो ऑथेंटिसिटी है, उनके कुछ भी प्रॉमिस करने के लिए, जैसे आपने बताया कि आप प्रॉमिस करके उनको करेज बढ़ाइए, तो वो चीज बच्चे बचपन से सीखते हैं. तो बचपन से मतलब 10-12 साल तक जो भी हम उनको सिखाते हैं, क्योंकि जो भी पेरेंट्स होते हैं वो उनके लिए रोल मॉडल होते हैं, तो उस उम्र में उनको सिखाना ज्यादा आसान रहता है.
बहुत अच्छी.
तो ऐसे में जो आपने बताया कि उनको आप करेजियस रखिए, आप जो भी प्रॉमिस करते हैं उसको कीप अप रखिए, और उनमें एक ऐसा विश्वास जगाइए कि उन्हें लगे कि हाँ, प्रॉमिस का अर्थ क्या होता है. तो ये चीजें 15 साल के बाद ही यदि हम ये चीजें सिखाने जाएंगे, तो वो शायद उतनी अच्छी तरह से सीख नहीं पाएंगे। और दूसरी बात जो मुझे कहनी थी लेटर्स की, खतों की, तो जो खत होते हैं, जैसे कि मेरा बेटा नेशनल डिफेंस एकेडमी में था, 4 साल IIM में था, तो उस समय में हम हर हफ्ते 2 लेटर, मैं हिंदी में लिखती थी, मेरे हस्बैंड इंग्लिश में लिखते थे, और वो इंतजार करता था इतवार का कि कब इतवार आए और मैं उनका रिप्लाई करूं, क्योंकि दे वर नॉट अलाउड टू रीड इन द मिडिल डेज। तो उसके लिए वो एकदम एक्साइटेड रहता था। तो ये जो 3 साल जो भी लेटर्स हैं, वो उस समय के सारा एक इतिहास लिख देते हैं जैसे। तो वो लेटर्स हमने आज भी संभाल के रखे हैं, जो उस समय के एटमॉस्फेयर को और उस समय के सिचुएशन को और भी ज्यादा रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं। जैसे आपकी तरह जो राइटर्स हैं, उनके लिए जो लेटर्स है वो मेरे ख्याल से बहुत अहमियत रखते होंगे। जितने भी मेरे कोलीग्स हैं, जितने भी मेरे फ्रेंड्स हैं, मेरे ख्याल से उनके सभी के जीवन में लेटर्स का बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस होगा। तो हम कुछ ऐसा करें या कुछ ऐसा सोचें कि किस तरह से इसको हम रीस्टार्ट करें। इस बारे में आप कुछ भी आप ऐसा पॉइंट बता सकते हैं कि बच्चों को इस तरफ लाया जाए।
बहुत अच्छे। इसका तरीका तो सिर्फ इतना है, मतलब लेटर्स का तरीका इतना है कि आज हम बच्चों के ना रीडिंग के कंसंट्रेशन पार्ट जो है बहुत फ्लिकरिंग हो गया है हमारा कंसंट्रेशन। तो पहला, लेटर्स को शॉर्ट होना चाहिए, उसकी लंबाई चौड़ाई छोटी होनी चाहिए, पहली बात। और दूसरी बात मुझे जो लगता है कि उन लेटर्स में जो सबसे खास बात होनी चाहिए वो ये होनी चाहिए कि हम तुम्हें मिस क्यों करते हैं, व्हाई वी मिस यू, व्हाई यू आर सो इम्पोर्टेंट टू अस। और जितनी हम छोटी छोटी बातें, क्योंकि बच्चे बड़ी बड़ी बातें याद नहीं रखते, बच्चे छोटी छोटी बातें याद रखते हैं, और शायद हम यादें ही छोटी छोटी रखते हैं, उन्हीं से हम बड़ी यादों की ओर स्थापित होते हैं। तो जितनी हम वो छोटी बातें वो पिक करते हैं, हल्की फुल्की बातें वो पिक करते हैं, बच्चों को वो चीज बड़ी पसंद आती है। तो हम कोशिश करें कि वो छोटी सी बात हम याद रखें, उन लेटर्स में रखें, 4, 5, 6 लाइन 7 लाइन का लेटर्स, जिसको कि वो रेफर कर सके बार बार, वो पढ़ के उसको थके नहीं, बल्कि पढ़कर उसको खो जाए। और वो तभी संभव है जब वो जिन यादों का जिक्र हो, उन यादों से वो खुद को जोड़ पाए, तभी संभव है ये। तो हम उन यादों को बटोरते रहें, क्योंकि वी आर ऑल्सो ह्यूमन बीइंग।
बहुत बढ़िया।
हम भी तो ह्यूमन बीइंग है ना, हमारे साथ से बहुत सी चीजें उड़ जाती हैं दिमाग से। तो पहले तो हम उन यादों को बटोरें, वो बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है ना। मैं हमेशा लोगों से कहता हूं कि धनी वो है जिसके पास यादें हैं।
बिल्कुल सही।
हाँ, जिसके पास यादें नहीं है, हाँ, यादें ही धन है।
Life is but a string of beautiful memories.
यस।
वेरी
जिसके पास यादें हैं वही। थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू।
आपके शब्द बहुत अच्छे लग रहे हैं सुनने में, लगता है बस सुनते रहे।
नहीं मैम, आप लोग कनेक्टेड रहिएगा, आप लोग अच्छे लोगों से मिलकर मुझे बहुत खुशी होती है।
I have shared the number. I have shared the number in the group. I have shared your number in the group. Anybody can connect. And Sarla Chichi, you wanted to speak?
No. What's the name of his institution?
No.
Pardon?
No, sorry.
What's the name of the institution?
It is training requirement and new concept. It is in Delhi.
Thank you.
It is training requirement. You send my profile to them. You send my profile.
No, sorry. I'm not.
Okay.
दिल्ली में कहाँ है ये इंस्टीट्यूशन?
दिल्ली में मैम एक एरिया है, आपको साउथ दिल्ली में ही। साउथ, आप दिल्ली में हैं? आर यू इन दिल्ली?
नहीं। मैं कैलिकट में ही हूँ, केरल में।
अच्छा, कैलिकट में है आप। ओके।
So where in Delhi, sir? Where in Delhi?
It is in South Delhi, in South X.
42 साल हो गए।
ओहो, अरे वाह।
शादी के बाद यहाँ हो गए।
ओहो, अरे ठीक है।
लेकिन हिंदी कभी नहीं छोड़ा, हिंदी कभी नहीं छोड़ी।
नहीं, आपकी हिंदी में मुझे अभी भी स्थायित्व दिखता है, वो ना, वो कहीं शब्द छूटते नजर नहीं आते, शब्द बंधे हुए।
वही मैंने कहा कि बचपन में जो कुछ भी हम सीखते हैं वो कभी नहीं छूटता। इसीलिए जो भी फाउंडेशन हमें बच्चों में डालना है वो 15 साल के अंदर हमें डाल देनी चाहिए। जितने भी आपने बताया वैल्यूज की बातें, वो सारी वैल्यूज हमें उस उम्र तक डाल दे देनी चाहिए।
वाह,
कहीं ना कहीं तो वो उभर के आएगी, कैसे भी
बहुत अच्छे,
सिचुएशन हो, है
बहुत
ना?
अच्छे, बहुत अच्छे, बिल्कुल
Dr.
बिल्कुल।
Iyer was emphasizing till 5 years,
हाँ,
whatever mother teaches also.
And then, okay. Anybody else would like to speak? Usha ji?
Yes, if others have all asked their questions, I would. Once again, thank you so much, Dr. Nanditesh, for that
Thank you, ma'am.
excellent
Thank you.
lecture. And just 2-3 things that I would like to reiterate, in fact, because all the others who have spoken about the letters, I think they all belong to my generation. We were a generation who wrote a lot of letters to our friends, to our parents, to anybody and everybody. And I think all of us have bunches of letters lying in our cupboards or in our trunks, which we like to go through very frequently. And even when our children went to school or college, we still kept writing letters. But over the years, we have also lost that habit. But now that you have reminded us, as Dr. Jamila put it, we would like to start again. Maybe we'll start writing small letters to our grandchildren. For them also, it will be a novel experience, because I don't think any of them have ever written letters or received letters through the post. So maybe we'll try to do that. And another point that just occurred to me, I am involved with a small school run by an NGO here in Trivandrum. And I am part of the executive committee. So just 2 weeks back, we had a meeting with the teachers. That school has only up to 7th class. And most of the children are from the BPL families, from lower income group families. So we were discussing about the various problems that the teachers are facing, and the committee members were expressing what they wanted the teachers to do, and like that the discussion was going on. And one main issue that came up again and again was the question of disciplining the children. Because many of the committee members felt that when there was a function, like maybe an annual event or any small function in the school, the children were mostly acting in a very boisterous way, and nobody was disciplining them. And then one of the teachers came up with a response. She said that we can very easily discipline these children. We know how to discipline these children. But nowadays the issue is if you scold a child or even raise your voice a little bit, next day the parent lands up in the school with a complaint. And with so much of talk going on about child rights and others, child rights are very, very important. But then, sometimes we feel that that is being taken too far. And teachers are now feeling scared. I mean, it also, I think, applies to doctors. They are feeling scared about treating patients because so much of legal action comes up. And in case of children also, the parents need to be made aware of what is discipline and why children need to be disciplined, and what are the things that should not be done. And you cannot be too harsh. You can't beat up a child, or you can't harm a child. But then scolding a child and inculcating some discipline in the child is very important. And so I was suggesting there that we must have a meeting of the parents. That is, as you suggested, both father and mother and the teachers. And then face to face, they must discuss this issue and decide on what is the way that we can follow to inculcate discipline in children. That was another point that I wanted to make. And once again, thank you so much for that excellent talk. And thank you, Dr. Iyer, for being with us for such a long period. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, if nobody else is there to speak or comment, can I request Shashikala Tampan for the vote of thanks, formal vote of thanks. We have all thanked so many times. Shashikala will be wondering,
So, ma'am,
Thank you, Bhuvana. Thank you, Bhuvana.
I'd like to,
Yeah,
1
you
minute,
thank me
ma'am.
first.
I'd like to agree
Yeah,
with what
yeah,
Ushana
please.
has said. She said you have to discipline the child. It was my personal experience. My seven-year-old grandson, he just decided I can type through the computer or cell phone. We don't have to learn to write at all. Refused to write. So the teacher happened to be some junior of mine from school. And she said, can I just discipline him? I said, yes. So she just whacked him on the bottom once in front of the class. And that's it. He writes and writes well now. Thank you. I agree with Usha.
Very nice, very nice to know.
Bhuvana, shall I go ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, the subject of your presentation is highly relevant since the impact it has on the growth and development of the Indian society is considerable. We face the need to make decisions every day. And we wonder which is the best course of action. Dr. Nanditesh, your talk was inspirational. It was certainly informative. It presented a roadmap of the ethical decision-making process towards Value India.
Wow.
Through beautiful, illustrative, real-life situational depictions, some essential takeaway points. How to inculcate human values in children in a world where everything is quantified, but human values are not numeric. Sometimes you hear it's my truth against your truth. Power, wealth, profile value are magnified to top position as compared to human values. So we need to make human values relevant to their world. Some non-verbal cues like a smile and letters are very powerful. And I think everybody here seconded it and third and all that. But resist lecturing to them. So what we need to do is, what we gathered from your talk is, to reinforce the expression of soft human values. Parents to lay the foundation to develop these soft human values like care, that a promise is a promise and it counts, and the value of courage. In youth, value of respect, accepting and listening. Trust without validating is unique to sustain relationships. The adverse is when there is no trust and then the market enters the space and controls it. And you feel happy, but it is an illusion only. If you want to excel, you have to develop soft human values. This is the underlying suggestion. And yes, I think you also said, and very good advice, remember silence is strength. Then there was this very active participation during the interactive session. And therein, all the points were brought out all over again, like letter writing and how that needs to be revived, surrogacy, and you answered them all to their satisfaction, joint families, institution of marriage, and even parent counseling models were all highlighted during that session. So a big thank you to you, sir, Dr. Nanditesh, for this very informative and very nice, very beneficial session. This on behalf of AIWC-Suvarna. ISR, we are privileged to have you here. Thanking zonal organizer Usha Nair for supporting us every time. And all the members here for joining us today. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Grateful to be here. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Shashikala, for
very good vote of thanks, yeah, Bhuvan.
Yeah, very. She summed up everything.
Brilliant vote of thanks, ma'am.
Yes. summed up it so well. It's already a report is ready for me. You know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nilayji, personally from me, and
Thank you,
we'll be in
thank you.
touch. And I've given the number here in the chat box. Anybody who would like to be in touch with him. And is there anything? And
और फिर से इन्हें बुलाएंगे और फिर से सेशन होगा सबके लिए, है ना?
What we can do is whenever
अलग-अलग टॉपिक में we would like to listen you, sir. Thank you so much.
आप मेरा सौभाग्य होगा ये. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Whenever he is wanting to come to Kerala, at times, you know, whenever he comes, we'll make it a point to invite him. We'll adjust our time like that. Usha ji also was thinking of inviting you again for something.
I will look forward, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Today I told Ajay that we are having you. He said yesterday I spoke to him. We were in touch.
No, he is always connected. So he is he's a future director of this country. You know, he is such a sensitive, and his, you know, canvas is very deep, very subtle and deep. He reads the human relationships very well. That is the most important part. Very well, he reached that.
I introduced him to you because I knew that, you know, you both had that, and I'm very happy that he's keeping in touch. Such a person.
No, he is. We are always most of the time, you know, in the text, but we keep on talking. You know, so he is the future of this country in terms of filmmaking, and it is just a matter of time. It is just a matter of time. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So thank you so much to all of you. And I think it is time to end the meeting now. Though very regretfully, we would have liked to continue listening to him. So thank you so much. And we'll see you at the next webinar.